Hello, welcome back to the channel. Everything's super peachy, right? Please take the time to like, subscribe, or comment below. We have two daughters having completely and utter different experiences with the father. One who actually was able to spend time with them. The other had no experience with her father whatsoever because he succumbed to, we can say, inner demons, mental crisis issues prior to her being actually aware of him and experiencing him. Kurt Cobain's daughter was interviewed, and as you see on the screen, she said, "I wish I could have known my dad." And when I saw that, it kind of stirred up a recollection that it stirred up something that I noticed in previous situation when, especially the daughter, not excluding the son, but especially with the daughters, when they actually don't have time to get to know them because of their untimely passing, there seems to be a great deal of yearning of actually getting to know, have gotten to being able to know them, especially when other people are talking about, oh, he was this, he was that. Look at these pictures, and oh, that's how he laughed just like you, or vice versa, or you have an interest that he did and nobody knew, and they they piece together an understanding of their father through second, third hand interactions. And it's never, as it seems to me, it's never enough. Understandably, it's never enough. The stories, the photos, videos, so on and so forth, it's never enough for especially the daughter to have the void filled. No matter how much information is presented to them, it's never enough. Understandably, like I said, here's some of the other things that she had to say during the interview. Kurt Cobain's daughter, Frances Bean Cobain, shares heartbreaking message on never knowing her late dad. And that is a very appropriate response, especially as she's gotten older. I'm not exactly sure how old she is, but she's probably in her mid to late 20s, early 30s. She was quoted as saying, "I wish I knew the cadence of his voice, how he liked his coffee, actually experience him being tucked in the bed." And actually, at the bottom, it says, if he had the smell of Camelites and strawberry Nesquik, his favorites, as she has been told, those type of expressions of not knowing firsthand is always how daughters speak of their fathers when they never got a chance to experience them. Like she said, she wants to know what he actually, his smell. No matter if there were 30 people who smoked Camel Lights and drank strawberry Nesquik, nobody would smell the same. There'll be similarities, but her father would have a distinct smell over a dozen different men enjoying the same thing. Later on in the interview, she's quoted saying, "To anyone who has wondered what it would have looked like to live alongside the people they have lost, I'm holding you in my thoughts today." There is always going to be a void that is not going to be fulfilled, especially to children who lost their parents at a very young age. And I'm talking about I have zero memories or very few sparse memories of their father. But apparently, the dynamic opposite is exhibited in this young lady.
Well, after a few minutes of investigation, I discover that my daughter, Maddie, has made a video about me. She's a screenwriter in Hollywood. She's also a big social media influencer. Some of her videos get millions of views. And this video has 1 million likes, 20,000 comments, 40,000 bookmarks, 30,000 reposts. So I thought I'd better watch this video. And frankly, I was pretty chagrined by what I heard, to say the least.
My dad abandoned my family when I was 5 years old. That is a wife and 4 kids. He abandoned us and then pursued amateur breakdancing. Became like the oldest actively competing breakdancer in the world. Here, I'll show you.
See, take a look at this 60-year-old breakdancer. Yes, 60 years old. Amazing. That's Ben Hardy's competing at a breakdancing competition in Philadelphia.
This guy wouldn't pay my medical bills.
Now, that's her exhibiting the total discontent, malice. You had Frances Cobain speaking of yearning to know her father and experience her father. But this young lady has the nerve to publicly humiliate this man and cite him as abandoning to the world. So you have one daughter saying to the world, I wish I knew my dad. And you have this other daughter speaking as if she would have been better off never knowing her dad. To the point that she would say to the world, he abandoned my mother and my sibling. And he did the only thing that he could do. The only appropriate thing is to respond and let the world know that this is not the case. It could have been a one-on-one dialogue, but she had so much dislike in her heart for that man that she decided to do it publicly.
As some of you know who have been following this, my 24-year-old daughter, Maddie, has come out with another video telling the world that I abandoned the family.
Can you kind of explain a little bit of the controversy?
Of course. Okay, so for anybody who is listening who doesn't know me, which is probably most people because I'm literally not famous.
Not millions of followers.
Unfortunately, though, I have become semi-famous literally just in like Republican hate circles. Most recently, I made a video about my dad because my dad abandoned my family when I was little and he like went on to become a pretty famous breakdancer.
So she had to once again reiterate that her father is a deadbeat. She says abandoned, but the response of others who took her side was that he was a deadbeat. And then given the opportunity again to discuss the matter, she doubled down on it and said, hey, world, this man is a deadbeat.
And I made a video that was like very funny, tongue-in-cheek about that. But because my dad is like a huge Republican, huge Bitcoiner, like he's so bizarre, he has this sort of...
So you have one daughter saying, I wish I knew my father, to be able to form a firsthand opinion of him. And this individual, when given the opportunity to actually have firsthand experience with him, She wants to destroy him. Again, this could be a private matter discussed between the parties involved. But she hates the man enough to double down again and call him weird. And then again, he abandoned us. And she says, oh, it's tongue in cheek. But at the end of the video, as you heard, she said he wouldn't pay my medical bill.
Cultish following around him.
God.
And in the video that he posted, he's like wearing a Bitcoin t-shirt. He has an American flag behind him. Like, he's like, oh, and then Elon Musk responded to my dad's video being like, you're awesome. Like, you're an awesome dad. You're awesome. So that got all of the Elon Musk fans after me. It was sort of just a whole controversial moment in my life.
So this should be your screenplay, right?
America went super viral, etc., etc. But she added that he wouldn't pay her medical bills. Then comes Ben, stage name Benihana, with a 10-minute reaction video and some pretty good-natured corrections. He claimed he lived close by after the divorce, did pay medical bills, child support, put money into a college fund to the tune of around $5 million all in all to cover the
man that she referred to as a deadbeat in a divorce decree with the young children, in totality to him and his recollection, totaled upwards of $5 million. So you have actual children who got zero support, calling a father a deadbeat. And she refers to the man who has documentation stating that through his mother, his children got upwards of $5 million, and he's a deadbeat. What is the line? Where is the line to where, even in divorce, you are not a deadbeat dad? $0 up to $5 million. Is it 6? Is it 10? Is it 20? Is it 100? What is the line to where at the end of the marriage, the father can say here and not be considered a deadbeat? I'm just curious.
cost of the kids, and said he saw his kids often when they were growing up. But he did admit that from his daughter's perspective as a 5-year-old, it might seem like abandonment, but that in his opinion, it was not a totally accurate account. Whilst we watch this father-daughter union play out in real time, obviously Elon Musk weighs in to tell Ben, you're awesome. I didn't even know. But this has got me thinking. Ben is getting absolutely dragged online with people calling him a deadbeat dad and like loads of other grim stuff. Are these internet call-outs fair? I've seen these happen time and time again.
It was just tongue-in-cheek to call this man a deadbeat dad, and she had no idea, knowing how social media is, that there were people, well, she didn't call him a deadbeat dad, but she said he abandoned the family. But in the age of social media, she had no idea that just off rip, just mention, oh, he abandoned us, that deadbeat dad would not fly his way. She had no idea. In this age, this is not the age of just newspapers. This is not the age of just radio. The degree of hate is off the charts. And again, you have one daughter who wish she knew what her father smelt like, what his walk was like. Laugh, all these other things that this young lady was able to experience, but yet and still, she's dragging this man as if he did nothing for her or her mother, her siblings or her mother. What's the line?
and it always turns out that there's another side to the story. Would we feel differently if Ben was less of a comic character or was just like less good-natured about the whole thing? Would she still have posted it if she knew he was going to see it? But whatever your thoughts are on internet call-outs, I think we can all agree with this comment. Benihana does unfortunately go so crazy.
But this like breakdancing dad stuff, it's so bizarre and it's so ridiculous. And like, yeah, like I literally am writing a screenplay about it. Like, and I've been working on that screenplay for like months.
How do you like tolerate this? You just like block it out?
The dad stuff is the worst because it's like my actual real life. So honestly, the dad controversy has been the hardest to deal with because like it is hard having people in my comments who don't know anything being like, your dad is awesome.
So I need to supply more information about this saga. Information that Maddie and the kids probably have not heard before.
Oh, they've heard. Especially she's heard. There's no way. Well, let me take that back. Unless it's just a willingness to not investigate, not to have sit-down conversations with their mother and find out what happened. There's no way that there is no knowledge of what had occurred. And if they didn't get the information from the mother, you'll see it later on. But again, it seems to me that she went and put this online specifically to get people interested in her because, as you just saw, she's writing a screenplay about this whole situation. So she's willing to destroy her father in the hopes that it'll get enough traction to where people will be interested in her screenplay, her story. Maybe Lifetime or what's that other, Hallmark. Somebody will pick it up. This is going to be her claim to fame, destroying him not once, not twice, but probably 3 or 4 times, hoping to get money on top of the money that the man provided to the mother for the kids. But yet and still, you have Frances Cobain wishing she had firsthand experience with her father, yet and still you have a daughter who has had firsthand experience. And if you watch his YouTube channel, he has video of them together and, you know, the weekend dad or the summer dad. It's always, you know, trips here and there. Very superficial because it's not the same as being raised in the house with your father, but the willingness to destroy this man just so you could hopefully get 2 shiny nickels to rub together and say, I'm important in the world of theater or TV or whatever it is she's writing for. It's crazy. Trying to destroy a man in every way, shape, and form to hopefully get a Kids' Choice Awards or whatever, some stupid award.
So anyways, let's take a look at Maddie's follow-up video.
I know my dad posted like a 10-minute video or whatever being like, you know, my daughter's lying. We have a great relationship. I have a great relationship with all my kids. That's just...
Now, I don't recall him saying she lied. As I recall, he said she's misremembering, paraphrasing.
Subjectively not true. Like, guys, we're all freaking out about this in my family group chat right now. We're being like, he's so unhinged and delusional. We don't know if he actually believes his own narrative or if he's lying on purpose, but he's just like a weird guy. Yeah, he said he lived down the street from us. That's not true. Or like if he did, it was only for a few months maybe, but I don't want to get into this.
So, again, you have Frances Cobain saying she wished she had time with her father, but this young lady says, oh, well, it was just for a few months. 0 time, a few months, according to her. Which is better to have? Because you have one outright saying, I wish I had time with my father. And she's just so dismissive, like, oh, well, it was just a couple of months. It doesn't really mean anything.
Again, like my video was basically like sanitizing the situation and like poking fun at the lightest parts of that childhood trauma. But obviously in real life, it was a lot more like complicated and traumatic. And it was really hard. He left us, immediately married another woman. We didn't hear from him for years. And then he would visit every few months and we'd go out to dinner. But like, he truly had no hand in raising us at all. Give us some.
Well, how can you have a hand in raising siblings when you're not under the same roof? She just complained that him being down the block for a few months wasn't it. So if he's not under the roof with the children, how exactly can he raise the children? But yet she wants to drag him.
Funny growing up, I honestly don't know the nitty gritty of the financial situation. I really, really don't. Bottom line is this guy was a completely absent father.
Absent father. She throws this term around just kind of just willing. I mean, first he abandoned. Then he was down the block, but it really didn't count. Then, oh, well, he took no part in raising them. There's just no satisfying some children. There's no satisfying. I understand Francis Cobain's wishing to know and have a true understanding of what her father is like. I understand that. Because like I've said in other videos, children suffer by not knowing their father, the father's side of the family. They suffer not knowing the other half. It's like a 1,000-piece puzzle missing, not gonna say 50, missing, the dead center of it, where all the action is. That's what it's like. Wishing, like she said, I wish I knew what he smelled like. I wish I knew what his walk was like. All of these things. Wish to experience getting tucked in the bed at night, catching tadpoles and lightning bugs and the like. Those things mean so much to individuals like her, as much as it means to kids who don't know who their father is. Choice moms. It's the same thing. But yet and still, when you actually have children, this particular daughter, who have the experience of being with her father live and direct, she wants to trash the man, hoping to, like I said, rub two nickels together.
What are all these supposed lies that Tori is talking about? Tori is a good person. She must think there are lies in my video. And Maddie has put up at least.
And you see, with all the name calling and the dismissiveness, this man is still speaking highly of her. Even if she's dragging this man, he still speaks of her as his daughter. Very, very very measured response to he abandoned my mother and his siblings. He wasn't there. He took no part. It wasn't enough. But the man still speaks of her as his daughter.
4 videos now where she continues to say that I abandoned the family, which I believe that I've proven is not true at all. And the problem is my kids have no clue what the real story is. Now, what some people in the comments are saying is, why put all this on video for public viewing? Well, because the girls are not talking to me right now. And the only way to deliver information to them is to put it up on video.
Because he has no option. She put it out there. What is he, if he's silent, he's saying, yeah, I abandoned my kids. So he's damned if he does what he's doing now, and he's doubly damned if he does nothing. So he has no other option but to address it. And he's doing it very calm and collected. Very measured, not trying to, just dog her out. I can't believe you MNF and elemental P doing this to me. Very calm. Look, this is it. I'm willing to have the conversation with y'all, but he's being forced to do it online because they're shutting him out. Would Francis Cobain shut him out if by sheer miracle her father could be there with her right now? Would she shut him out?
Well, because the girls are not talking to me right now. And the only way to deliver information to them is to put it up on video. Now, perhaps the so-called lie that Tori is referring to, and that Betsy is referring to, is the approximately $2 million lump sum that Betsy received at the end of the marriage, at the start of the divorce, and the $5 million total that she and the kids received in the ensuing years until each of the kids reached age 22. Now, these were estimates off the top of my head from memory, so I went back and reviewed the numbers, and it turns out that the real numbers are that I agreed to pay Betsy $1.8 million at the conclusion of the marriage, so $1.8 million at the start. However, I was $100,000 short of what I agreed to.
So he's being called an outright liar because he said 2 mil, but it was 1.8 mil. I might be screwing those numbers up, but that's a lie. The 1 point whatever meant nothing, but because he's $100,000 or $200,000 off, oh, you're lying. Is he just sitting around waiting for somebody, one of his kids, to say, "Oh, well, you're a deadbeat. You didn't do anything." Well, he abandoned us, and he didn't do anything for us. And he's like, "Well, oh, look, I got the paperwork right here." No, he just responded to the best of his ability, but it's a lie. It is a lie worth not talking to him. That's insane.
More on that in a moment. And Betsy and the kids received a total of $4 million, a little bit more than $4 million, which includes the aforementioned $1.8 million and $618,000 for the kids' college funds and college costs. Below, I link to a PDF of the accounting.
Okay, so he said 5, but it was actually 4. Again, is that a lie? Or is that just a misremembering? Again, he wasn't sitting around saying, "Oh, I can't wait," like the girl's double dutching and he's just ready to jump in. "Oh, I've been waiting for y'all to come at me." Like, really? He's a liar. $100,000 to $200,000 off on the initial installment, and then just under $1 million off on the totality, but he's a liar. He's a liar. He's a liar who's untrustworthy. Incredible.
This accounting comes directly from a 2016 court case, one of many court battles I was in with Betsy. And anyone is free to dispute this accounting, but I think it's pretty accurate. So Betsy and the kids received a little bit more than $4 million, not the $5 million that I had estimated from memory in the first video. So that's my error. Now, of course, the counter to this is the money is good and all, but it doesn't make up for not having a full-time dad in the home.
Exactly. And I'm saying, oh, the kids would have turned out perfect, but which is better to have? Because you have Frances Cobain wishing she knew her father, had experiences with her father firsthand, not through word of mouth. Would she trade actually growing up with her father for $4 million, $5 million?
But here's the issue. Apparently they really do think that I abandoned the family. They think this because it took me more than 2 years to move to LaGrange, Illinois, where I could be just down the street. That's true. Maddie is right about that in a way. So let me go over the reasons why. And this is where the story really gets insane. Now,
but did they actually have the conversation with the mother. Because ain't none of them babies, ain't none of them toddlers, ain't none of them teens and tweens, did they ever ask what happened? Why wasn't dad around during these years?
Remember that $1.8 million that she was due at the conclusion of the marriage in 2005? Well, I was $100,000 short. I'd agreed to give her an additional $100,000 on top of all of our marital assets. Well, I wasn't able to pay it because remember, she had destroyed my business with all of her subpoenas. So she and her attorneys filed what is called a show cause petition with the court. A show cause petition. What is a show cause petition? Well, this means I must prove that I am not in contempt of court. And if I am in contempt of court, meaning if I don't pay the $100,000, I could go to jail for contempt of court. So I walked into court for this show.
So the mother took him to court because he was short $100K. Because she thought he was lying, because the 1.8 wasn't enough. I wonder, is that where the daughter got, oh, well, he wasn't there enough? It was just for a couple of months? Is that where she gets this, oh, I need to squeeze everything out of him? Including destroying the man online for her story, screenplay, or whatever? And you can say, oh, well, that's what he promised. I understand. Willing to take him to court for contempt for the 100K when he turned over 1.8. Did that help or hurt the relationship with the children? Was that 100,000 worth destroying and understanding that the children had of their father?
Cause hearing. I had no legal representation at that point because I was out of money and couldn't pay lawyers anymore because Betsy had torpedoed my business with her subpoenas to all of my clients. This judge was a woman by the name of Judge Leslie Alden. I knew the instant that she looked at me that I was dead in the water. She had my tax returns and bank statements. It looked to her like I was making quite a bit of money. But that was before my clients went away due to all of Betsy's subpoenas that were arriving at their offices from Betsy's legal team. Judge Alden bellowed at me. "When will you pay Mrs. Hart the $100,000 you owe her, Mr. Hart?" she said from the bench. She sounded exactly like Judge Judy on TV. I answered, "As soon as I can, Your Honor. I need to build my business back up." Judge Alden asked me again, "When will you pay Mrs. Hart the $100,000 you owe her, Mr. Hart?" I answered, "Well, as soon as I can, Your Honor. I need to build my business back up." She asked me one more time.
So the wife destroyed his business that he had prior to the divorce, which put him in a financial bind for her to say, oh, well, you're keeping money from me, so I'm going to take you to court, and this is what he has to deal with. Because if she hadn't subpoenaed all of his clients, they wouldn't have ditched him, thus destroying his business, and he would have been able to pay the $100,000. But because she wanted every dime, she was willing to destroy his business. It seems like in hopes of putting him in jail. To me.
Time. Mr. Hart, when will you pay Mrs. Hart the $100,000 you owe her? I answered, I don't know what else to say except I'll pay her the money as soon as I can. Her next words were, "Bailiff, remand Mr. Hart to the custody of the sheriff." Now, I didn't care much about money when I let Betsy have all her stuff, but I sure could have used $100,000 right then.
You have one daughter, specifically Frances Cobain, wishing she had experiences, memories with her father because he was gone before she was old enough to actually have memories that she built with him firsthand. Why hadn't Kurt Cobain's wife, I believe he was married to her, why didn't she dog him out like this young lady is dogging her father out via her mother? Is that the key? When the father is deceased, you keep all of the hate and animosity from reaching the child and only speak positively of the father, to the point where Frances is pining and yearning to have had experiences with her father, her own experiences. But when the father is alive, it's no holds barred. You got the Benihana breakdancing dad alive and well, and it seems his wife has completely trashed him in every way, shape, and form, to the point that the younger daughter is willing to socially destroy him for what it seems to me is to get traction on a screenplay that she is writing about the relationship she, or lack thereof, that she had with her father. So is that the blueprint? Fathers, have a child, decease yourself, and your daughters will yearn to have experiences with you. Because if you don't, the mother will take any and every opportunity to destroy you, to the point that the child will go online to say, he abandoned us, abandoned my mother and my siblings. Is that the blueprint to be speaking of highly?
And by the way, when I say I paid Betsy $12,000 per month, that's kind of shorthand. Here's where that number comes from, because Betsy is challenging this number. Well, here's what it was. $4,000 per month for alimony, $4,600 per month for child support until age 22 for each child, $800 per month for the college fund, $1,000 per month for life insurance, $400 per month toward Betsy's health insurance, $1,000 per month for health insurance for the kids, and there were about $1,000 in monthly costs for out-of-pocket medical expenses. Medical costs, by the way, included not just the usual things that we consider to be medical costs, things like broken leg or need some stitches, have a fever, things like that. These out-of-pocket medical costs also included counseling and therapy sessions for the kids, eyeglasses, contact lenses, braces, and so forth. And these were not covered by insurance.
He abandoned the family. All of that stuff that he listed, he abandoned. Left them high and dry, flapping in the breeze, just no control, just caught up in the ether. Assuming everything that he is saying is near accurate. For all we know, this could be a skit. I don't know, but I know that I wish I would have known my dad has got to be a true feeling, especially when a daughter has no experiences with her father. It has got to be a true feeling. I don't see in any way, shape, or form that she is just saying it just for the sake of saying it.
Meanwhile, Betsy had obtained a protective order and had filed a motion to prevent visitation. Here is Betsy's motion to prevent visitation. It's actually titled Motion to Strike Petitioner's Petition for Visitation and Motion for Sanctions. This all cost me another $30,000 or so to overcome. Betsy's goal here was for me not to be able to see the kids at all, ever. And the kids, of course, had no understanding that all this was going on. To them, it looked like I had abandoned them.
to them. It looked like. At some point in time, you have to believe that somebody, some of those children of his said, "Ma, what happened? I feel that Pops, Dad, Papa, whatever, completely abandoned us. Is this true?"
My hope is for everything to go back to the way it was this past Christmas, with everyone happy and getting along, and the way it has been for, well, since 2008 or so.
And I found out why he got into breakdancing after the divorce. Somehow or another, he understood that it would benefit him health-wise. Because, it doesn't seem like he grew up doing it, but he got into it. And, the fact that the daughter calls his weird, he's 65 years old, has the mobility of a damn 25-year-old. Still a little stiff, but nonetheless, 65, breakdancing, doing head spins, windmills. I think he did windmills. But just the dismissiveness of his health is astonishing. Anyway, there's something that caught my eye. I saw this thing. I don't know if they happened at the same time or what, but the fact that a daughter who has no or limited, can't remember how she was when he passed, has no or limited recollection memories. And when I say memories, I mean everything from sight, scent, touch. None. She has nothing. And she yearns for it. And then you have this other daughter who actually has that. And this is what she does. It's incredible to me. It's incredible. Thank you. Like, subscribe, share, comment.